update from Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. As you can see right here, I've been testing out today. Actually just created a full CRM, like you can see, and even a 3JS Roman marketplace simulation, which is pretty crazy. We can zoom in and zoom out of that right there, and it looks absolutely banging, to be honest with you. It looks really, really good. And so what we're going to be doing today is just testing out, seeing how it works, seeing what we can build with it, and seeing how powerful it is. Now, already just from the look and the feel of it, you know, from what I've built, I've literally just run these two tests in like 5 minutes. It's absolutely rapid when it comes back to you. And if you're wondering, okay, what does this mean? What's all the new differences, etc.? So this is Google Gemini 2.5 Pro preview. And basically what it's focused on is even better coding performance. Now, I would already say that Gemini 2.5 Pro so far has been goated in terms of performance, in terms of the outputs. It's getting better all the time, and this is just another massive upgrade. So if you want to get access to this for free, you can go over to aistudio.google.com. Then you can select Gemini 2.5 Pro preview in the top right here, and you will see the May the 6th update right here. Okay, so this is available. It is free to use. I've not got my credit card details plugged in here. I think it does have some limits, but you can use it for free. And then if you have Gemini Advanced, you can also get access to this inside Gemini directly here, and then preview stuff in the canvas tends to look better, to be honest with you, but it looks really cool either way. So you can see basically in terms of the Web Dev Arena leaderboard, Gemini 2.5 Pro now ranks #1, and I would honestly say, you know, they came out of nowhere this year. Like that, their tool was never that good, and then Gemini 2.5 Pro came out and it was absolutely awesome. So you can see it's absolutely dominating the Web Dev Arena leaderboard. From my own tests, I would say it's definitely better than Claude 3.7 Sonnet. It's also a lot faster, and it's awesome for building stuff out. So you can also see, for example, here, you can do some other cool stuff. So, for example, you can actually video to code now. So it's got this video understanding, and then you can use that to generate code as well. It's really easy to just code stuff out directly, and we'll be testing this out in a second, all right? Now, if you want to see what other people are building with it, here's some examples from the actual Google teams who have said, here's what our team is building in Canvas with Gemini 2.5 Pro, the new edition today. And you can see, for example, someone here created like a fun sound guessing game. We've got another one where someone built out a whole website for a one-shop app for like looking through books and stuff like that. Someone else built out this tool for mortgages and calculations and stuff. And here's another one. This was a garden bed planner, which is pretty crazy. It actually looks really cool. And additionally, we even have some games. So for example, you can see here, this is a game for learning like about chemistry, molecules and stuff like that. And additionally, we have the Macbeth line rehearsal app. So you can build anything that you want, any idea that you have, you can build, and it's absolutely amazing. So for example, for building out this CRM dashboard, here's how I did it. So, I mean, this is how easy it is. It's absolutely silly. So if you want to go and build stuff, you just go to new chat, then you're going to select 2.5 Pro. You don't need any coding experience now to build whatever you want. And you can see, for example, here, what I said was build a CRM, right? Very simple prompt, not like a particularly difficult prompt at all. Then I said yes, because it was asking me some like ideas on what we need to do, etc. And then from here, it was like, okay, great, let's just go and build it out. And it literally built this out, asked it to build it into HTML in Canvas. And then finally from there, it built something, but it was kind of not working when I was clicking through between these. So I actually said, you know, make sure that I can click through the tabs when I'm using it. When I click each section, nothing happens, please fix it. Boom shakalaka, that was fixed and corrected, like you can see. Here's another example. So I'd say create a real world simulation of a marketplace in Roman times in Canvas, and it created something that was very basic. If we actually open this up, you can see the previous generation, and you know, it's just like a flat sort of 2D simulator right here. Then I said, okay, make the people more realistic and make it 3JS so I can see the whole thing and move around. And it was like, yeah, no problem, mate. So it went off, it did that. And now you can see we can actually just use that right here. And I think the more iterations you do inside 2.5 Pro, the more realistic you can make it look. But you can see how cool that is. Like, for example, if we said, all right, you know, maybe we want to, for example, like add more detail, right? You could say add more detail. improve the market stalls, make it all feel more realistic, add more detail to the people, etc. Right? And then if you want to share this stuff, you can actually click on share over here. It will create a link for you, and this is just implemented on a subdomain inside gemini.google.com. So if we click on confirm a view, we have the remote marketplace ready to preview right here. Really easy and simple to do, super fast. You know me, like I've tested, for example, tools like Claude, and if it lets me down, I just show you on the live stream, right? But this one was actually super powerful. So let's try this. I'm just going to say add more detail, improve the market source, blah, 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 and we'll see what we get back now. And see if we can just take this to a whole new level. Now, again, if you want to use it inside AI Studio, you can do exactly the same thing. It doesn't seem to have like a canvas option, so you would have to, for example, just go inside the chat here, use similar sort of prompts, and then we can say, okay, build in 3JS. And we'll just put just HTML preview, right? Hit run. And then we should be good to go on that. So it tends to take a little bit longer inside AI Studio, but you also get more control over it. So for example here, you can check the token count, you can check the temperature, you can also switch between like code execution, function calling, etc. You can even add Google search as well, which is pretty cool. And additionally, you've got like some advanced settings on the right hand side as well in terms of like output length and that sort of thing. Now if we go back, we've got the Roman marketplace with a bit more detail, more buildings, etc. It's added more detail to the marketplace stores, and if we look at the people, you can see they've just got a bit more detail to them. Now if we keep going and we keep iterating on that, eventually we'll get something that looks really good. But as a first sort of, what is this, a third draft, it's not bad at all, and it looks really cool. You can just build out your own games. I mean, like if you spent a whole day on this, you could create something absolutely awesome, to be fair. Someone asks, what does the temperature do? So the temperature inside AI Studio will just make it more creative, right? So it's the creativity allowed in the responses. If you increase the creativity, aka if you increase the temperature, then it will be more creative in its outputs, but it's also more likely to break or to do something nonsensical as well, right? So that's coding this out now. We've got that good to go. Let's have a look and we'll just run that on the preview. So we're going to go to HTML code editor, plug that in, and actually we'll have a look at liveweave.com. That tends to be better for previewing code, especially if it's something like this. And now we have the Roman market simulation, like you can see. To be fair, I mean, I actually think the outputs were better inside AI Studio than they are inside Gemini Advanced, because that's added more detail already. But yeah, you can see here the market stalls, the people, etc. You could also animate that as well. So you could go back inside Gemini, AI Studio. Okay, and say like, animate the people, make it more realistic, add more detail. Okay. Make the design more interesting and animated and lifelike. But I would say it's like the ultimate vibe coding tool right now, because you can just keep going back and forth with it, very quick to make changes. Now, I mean, the other thing is here as well is like if we pull this up and we compare it versus something like Claude, so let's do that. All right, and what we'll do is we'll just run exactly the same thing on both at the same time, right, to try and make it fair. So if we go back to a new chat over here, we've got 2.5 Pro Experimental, and then we've got Claude, which I would say is the second best option, right? So you've got two different options there. Again, this is for coding specifically, like this is what Gemini is really good at. So if we go into, for example here, and we'll test which one creates the best outputs. So let's see what we got. Yeah, we can try with the simple 3D car simulator in Three.js. So let's plug that into Gemini and we'll plug it into Claude. I'm going to give Claude the head start. So we'll hit enter on Claude like so, and then we'll hit enter on Gemini. And we'll see which one, number one, performs fastest and which one gives us the best outputs as well. I just need to select Canvas as well inside Gemini Advanced. Someone said compare it against Quen as well. Quen is just, like, from what I've seen so far, it's so bad. It's so bad at outputs. So the other thing here as well is, like, by default, Claude doesn't have thinking mode selected. Whereas Gemini 2.5 Pro, you can see it automatically goes straight into thinking mode before it starts coding anything out. And you can see now it's coding out. Claude is doing the same thing, and we'll see which one comes up with the best outputs. So you can see here, let's have a look. So this is crazy. This is crazy. All right, so they pretty much finished at the same time here. But what you can see is that Claude has come back to us with this, a blue screen, my friends. Imagine if I was trying to do a tutorial on YouTube and I'm trying to show you some cool stuff that you can do with AI, and then the tool that I pay £150 a month for doesn't give me anything, but the tool that I've got completely for free inside AI Studio works perfectly, right? That's the big difference here. And look at this. We're zooming around. We're having the time of our lives driving this Three.js car, and it is working perfectly. Whereas if you go over to Claude, nothing is happening, right? I'm pressing up and down, I'm pressing the arrows, etc. It says speed is 100 kilometers an hour, but I can't see anything, and there's no preview here or anything like that, right? It's absolutely no bueno, right? That's what you get back from Claude. So you can see the difference here, exactly the same prompt, but Gemini just gives us way better outputs, like 10 times better. And also it's very easy to deploy this. We could add more detail to it as well. We can zoom around the map, and we can build out as much detail as we want inside this project, and then deploy it as well in a subdomain. So it's miles above the second best coding tool in the world. And I think until Claude releases like version 4, it's just not going to be able to compete. It's nowhere near the same level. Now, the other cool thing here as well is if you go over to Open Router, so I've already shown you how to code and vibe code with it inside, for example. By the way, this is the output. It looks better now. But yeah, so I've already shown you how to, for example, code inside Gemini Advanced. I've shown you how to get free access to Gemini 2.5 Pro inside Google AI Studio. And if we take that iteration of what we created previously, let's see what we got back here. Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's just magical, isn't it? We've got people floating around. We've got people walking around the market stall. We created that in one shot, and it was incredibly easy. Let's pull this up full screen for you. I mean, like, this is, I don't know if anyone here used to play Mega Drive back in the day or whatever, but like, this is kind of probably better graphics than something like an old school Mega Drive, you know? It's kind of like when the N64 came out. So that's what we're looking at here, peeps. It's super powerful, easy to create stuff, easy to build stuff. You don't even need to be a great prompter at this point, like, let alone need to code or understand what code is. It's incredibly easy. Now, if we go over to Open Router, we can also select models over here, and we can start coding with the models. So, for example, if we go to this page, I think we should have, I want to make sure, have we got Open Router on Google, have we got Google 2.5 Pro Experimental on Open Router? Here we go. All right. By the way, just make sure you filter by newest. I think Open Router has changed that recently. So if we click on here, we have the April model, but I can't see the latest model from Google. If we go on to the Open Router homepage here, yeah, it doesn't seem to be available on Open Router yet, but what you can do is if you go over to AI Studio, and then inside here you're going to get an API key, then create an API key. You're going to create an API key like so. I'm going to do that in the background. Once you've done that, then you can go over to something called Visual Studio Code. I have the full recipe inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description if you want like the instructions on how to set it up. And then from here, if we go over to Klein, then select Google Gemini. Let's see if we've got this available to code with. Here we go. All right, here's how to do it, right? So if you go inside Klein and then using 2.5 Pro, it's upgraded right here. So all you need to do is use 0325 in Klein, and that automatically points to the newest version, right? So if we go to 325, let's do that now. Klein inside the extensions, 325 is the one that you want to select. Then you're going to plug in the API key that you got from AI Studio earlier. And then inside this section, just make sure you do have Pro Experimental set up. And then inside here, if we X off here, we'll go back to the AI Profit Boardroom. And we'll just grab a random prompt from here. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to grab that. Now, inside the custom instructions, I'm actually going to delete this stuff because I don't really use it that much. All right, let's hit save on that. And then we're going to plug this in. And we'll say generate a high converting landing page for my SEO agency. Just see what it pulls up. So this is using the latest version of Google Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental. And that was super easy to set up. And you can see here it actually gives you the API cost. So this is proof that you can code with it using the API for free, right? It's not costing you anything to use this. Before I start getting YouTube comments telling me it's not free. So it's created the HTML, now it's creating the CSS. Let's see what else we can build with in the meantime. So I'm going to say, let's have a look what we've got here. Really, you want to use it for coding. So I'm just going to focus on coding related tools. Let's try a keyword research tool over here. Let's go inside Gemini now. Plug that in. Always select canvas and then hit enter. What I'm going to do in the meantime is go back to AI Studio. We'll try and create something cool in here. So you can code like, 3 different projects here with Gemini, with AI Studio, and then also with Visual Studio Code. And then, whilst you're waiting for the code to generate, it's quite easy to flick between the tabs and just test different stuff out. See what other cool stuff you can build, right? So I'm going to say, okay, 3JS, SEO related game for my SEO agency. Focused on building backlinks. Make it fun and interesting, like a 3D run a game for SEOs. Make the graphics awesome. Code in HTML. Then if you press Command and Enter, that will just run the prompt so you can get the outputs. In the meantime, we've now got the tool back from the AI-powered research tool. So it's created a keyword research tool that we can just plug in an API key and some ideas of like keywords we want to generate, right? So for example, if we put, okay, dogs inside the niche, and then inside the API key, I'm just going to grab that from AI Studio in the background. Basically, like, you can build your own custom tools. Now, this is not guaranteed to work, right? Quite often when you build these types of tools, where you're plugging in your own API key, it can break. But let's see what we get back. So I'm going to copy and then plug this in, hit start keyword research. That's finding the keywords for us here. And I'm going to say, right, it's not using AI to generate this. Let's say don't use presets, get the AI/API to generate keyword ideas based on whatever niche I type in. In the meantime, if we go back to the chat now, that is already generated. It's ridiculously fast. It's so fast, it's silly. Now let's go back to LiveWeave and we'll test this out. We'll plug that bad boy in. And we've created the SEO runner game, right? So you see here, for example, you have to get tools, you have to avoid the spam, you increasing your DA, etc. And it works pretty nicely. All right, then we've got the penalty, and that messed us up. Now, again, if you want to improve this, just go back to your code here and just say, right, okay, make this more colorful, add much more detail to the whole level / runner. Make it feel more realistic. And I'm going to put like add a retro vibe to it as well. Make the background like an SEO traffic chart. And then we'll run that and we'll see what we get back in a sec. In the meantime, this has come back to us with the new code, and we can just keep flicking between everything, so we can vibe code like 3 things at the same time because we're waiting for all the different pieces to finish, right? So if we hit start keyword research over here, boom, look at that, right? So it's actually worked now. Again, we just put one prompt there, then we went back, always just give it the feedback on exactly what you want or what the problem is, and then we've got the keywords ready to go right here, and it's generated that using AI, right? You could also say, okay, like tailor the outputs more to the topic, right? So like, what is dogs? Obviously not grammatically correct. And maybe some of these are like placeholder keywords as well. So say, okay, make sure you avoid placeholder keywords. Make sure the keywords are generated with AI. Tailor the keyword ideas specifically to the topic I type in. Example, dog. You come up with keyword ideas like cool dog names using the AI and the API. Now if we go back to Visual Studio Code, that's finished now. We can hit run command and open this up. And we've got the one-shot page right here. There's parts of this that I don't think that, and I've always found this with Gemini particularly. I've never found it with Claude so much. But when you use the API directly inside Visual Studio Code, quite often the outputs are not as nice as running it through the canvas inside Gemini, right? So if I run that exact same prompt inside Gemini, I can almost guarantee that the results I would get back will be better than Visual Studio Code, if that makes sense. So that's just one thing to bear in mind, but you can see how you can code stuff for free, and it's pretty easy and simple to use right there. Now we go back to Gemini here. We've got the outputs again. This is the improved runner game. We'll go back to Live Weave over here and test it, right? So you can see here now it's kind of messed up the code a little bit, and we can't see anything, we can't see any characters, etc. So if I was like going back, I would just ask it to improve that, and you can see that it's not perfect, right? We've tested it to the limits, which is what I wanted to show you today. I don't want to show you like, oh, this is perfect if it's not, and you've got to see like the pros and the cons of this. But essentially you can see how this works step by step. And then additionally, if we go back to Gemini now, we've got the new version right here. So let's plug in the API key again, see what we get back. And then we've got some keyword ideas there. I still think that could be improved a lot. So you can see the pros and the cons of this. Like, it can create the basics pretty quickly, but it does mess up a little bit. I don't know why it's simulating. It should be using the actual API call. So I'm going to say, make sure you do a live API call inside the tool, not a simulated one. The other thing that you can do here is like, if you go to NA10, so if we log into NA10 here, right, you can actually build, I think I've actually cancelled my NA10 account, that's why. But you can actually build for free using NA10 as well. Just using the API from Google as well. So it's quite easy to set up like agents. I've actually got some examples of how to do that inside the AI Profit boardroom, right? So if you want to learn how to use this stuff, you can actually just type in NA10 here, and then you'll see all my best workflows, including like how to use stuff like Google Gemma and Google Gemini 2.5 Pro for free inside NA10 to build whatever you want. Like you can see right here, we've got the full details like so. So today we've covered all the ways that you can code with Gemini and what the actual tool does, how powerful it is, and what it can create, right? And also the limitations for this, where it gets stuck and where it messes up. So you know it's not perfect. I've shown you what it can and can't do, and yeah, you get the point here. So we've shown you Gemini, I've shown you AI Studio, we've looked at N8N, we've also looked, for example, at Visual Studio Code. There's one more tool that I want to show you today, and that is Windsurf, because I know you've probably heard the news that I think ChatGPT is buying them for $3 billion, something crazy like that, right? So if you want to use Windsurf, let me show you an example, right? So let's open up a new project here. I'll close that one. Then we can just open up a new folder and we'll create a new one. We're going to open that up. I think they've just released actually, so you can see it's downloading the update in the top right here. They've actually just released Windsurf version 8. And then you've got these two options, right? So you can use chat or you can use write. And then we're just going to restart this to update to the new version. By the way, these are all the new features inside Windsurf 8, as you can see. So these are new changes. I think this literally just came out, yeah, May the 6th. So it's a brand new update. And you can also see Gemini 2.5 Pro is available down there. So if we go to Windsurf now, click off that, click off that. Let's load this bad boy up. Windsurf is totally failing on me. All right, great. All right, well, at least you know then as well. Maybe you can't use things like Windsurf. I'm just being 100% transparent with you, and you can see what works and what doesn't work today as well. So, thanks very much for watching. Some people are saying Windsurf is more like Wind Crash. I would agree with you today. It definitely let me down, but you know, that's part of the game. Usually, honestly, it's pretty good, but you know, fair enough. They get purchased for 3 billion. You can't open it up. Doesn't make sense to me. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to the AI Profit Boardroom with all my best workflows, templates, SOPs, etc., including how to code with all of the tools I've shown you, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Inside the community as well, you can ask any questions you have. It also comes with weekly Q&A calls, and additionally, all my best courses, agents, workflows, templates, and daily updated SOPs. We update this bad boy every single day with new updates on all the latest stuff that's happening right now. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars on autopilot, feel free to get that link in the comments description, and we'll show you exactly how to increase your SEO traffic, get more leads, traffic, and sales for free using SEO. One thing I want to try, I've totally forgotten about this, but I want to try it right now. So let's give it a whirl. And that is Bolt DIY. So I'm going to shut down Windsurf. Shame on you, Windsurf. And then what we can do here is we'll grab the instructions for setting this up. Like you can see right here. And then we're just going to get this set up on terminal. All right, once you got it set up, we can go to the local host. If you ever have any problems setting it up with the SAP or whatever, or GitHub, whatever, just plug it into Claude. It will save you a lot of time. I'll tell you exactly what the problem is. And then what you can do from here is we're going to select Google, and from here we're going to select, let's see what we got here. .5 Pro Experimental. Or you could use Preview. And then if you ever want to code with Pro, you can just go inside here, select the model that you want. So this is a brand new model, by the way. It's created May the 7th, right? So it's Pro Preview that you need to select. So let's select Pro Preview. That is the main model. Then from here, we're just going to grab an API key from OpenRouter. So go to OpenRouter, top right, keys, create key. Then we're going to plug in the API key here. And then from here, let's test coding. So we'll just say, like, build, just for the sake of time, build a simple SEO calculator. And there you go. All right, super easy and simple to do. Pasting the article, pasting the keyword, worked perfectly first time round. You can use Bolt DIY, set it up locally, code locally, and to be honest, it actually works. Plus it's free, whereas, you know, Windsurf, it let us down directly on the video today. So thanks so much for watching. That is basically how to use all of this stuff, how to code with anything. We've talked through Bolt, Gemini, AI Studio. We've also talked through Windsurf, Visual Studio Code, and NA10 as well. If you want to get all my best SOPs, templates, workflows, it's all inside dates all the time. Plus, the community is absolutely awesome. And if you join, you can actually become an affiliate if you want to make money that way as well. And it's super simple and easy to get set up. So thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you.